Hello guys, how's everybody's Wednesday? I've basically been up for, I guess you can say 24 hours or more, technically. That's what happens with alcohol. For some reason, when I drink something like a Mike's or Smirnoff or a Crown and Coke or Jack Daniels or whatever, like I am wired, I am fully awake, and yeah, it didn't take long to realize the time. Actually, it took a while. Yeah, when I finally last night when I finally looked at the clock and it said like 1:30. Yeah, it was probably a good point or to possibly take a risk of waking up late or oversleeping. And I slept for maybe an hour, hour and a half. Got up and went to work. Now, the only reason why I basically had a bad day, which is why I didn't stream last night. Which is why alcohol. But I'm not really supposed to drink because I used to have seizures back when I was a kid. So I was told that there's a possibility my seizures can return due to what's in the alcohol. It doesn't mean that I necessarily can't drink, it just I have a limit. I can't drink no more than 2, which means I can't really get drunk. And I've never been drunk. I can admit I've been somewhat tipsy, but never drunk. But those Mike's seltzers are pretty good. And because of the fact that this guy didn't get enough sleep, which it's quite obvious, I could pass out at any given time. I've thought about going back to something like this because I've done a series like on the first part of it before. I don't know if you guys can actually see it. It was found in the Twitch's game directory or whatever, but it's basically a visual novel, a story, basically. There's like 2 parts. There's either I could let voice acting take a part of it where I will shut up, not talk at all, or I will read it. When I did the first part of it, I did it on YouTube. I read all the chapters. I've completed it. I never did the second part. There's a second side of the story. So that's what I thought about jumping in and doing tonight for an hour, because I'm only going to be streaming for an hour. So if anyone's really interested, Nachos for Charity, wanting to know what that is, I stream for raising money for charity for an entire month. And for the month of March, I am raising charity for money for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, as well as taking part in the event for the Earth event to help nature, to help the animals, WWF. I'm helping them with their event as well. So there's a link to both charities if you wish to donate to one of them, because if you can't donate to both, you can at least donate to one. So far, we raised $100 for St. Jude's, and we raised $5.55, or I guess you can say like five pounds, basically. $5.55 for that charity. And as well as I am doing a 12-hour stream this weekend, which I shouldn't even be streaming. I should be asleep right now. But I said I was going to stream tonight, so I'm streaming. And I'm just going to have like a very, very chill stream. So either you guys can make the decision if you'd rather hear the voice acting, or have like it voiced or me reading it. If no one wants to jump the pipe in, I will simply just start reading. I'll just go basically. So the artwork's pretty good too. I mean, it's a bit old style, but I mean the artwork. That's one of the things that I liked is that because of the artwork, and because it shares this very serious message. And if you don't know what this is, if I was just to give a brief detail of it, what if you were a kid? Which is why I wanted to do this one, because it's related to St. Jude's in a way. What if you were diagnosed with an illness that can't be cured? In terms of cancer can be cured technically. I mean, you can beat it, but it takes everything you got with help of doctors and research. But what if there was an illness that can't be cured? What if you get it as a kid and you spend a week or two in the hospital, you get to where you're stable, you go home, and after some time you get sent back to the hospital again for the same thing. It gets to the point where you never leave the hospital. Everything you see is from your hospital bed. You do tests, you go watch a little bit of TV, you hardly get to see anybody. It gets to the point where your friends from school, your friends from work, even if you were to get it from a much older age like me, and everybody just seems to forget about you. Like they forget that you exist, and you become like emotionally like blocked, I guess. And some of the way like you've accepted it, and you're not letting it bother you, and you have like a certain limited of medication to take to keep you stable that can only prolong what's going to happen. And this is why this story caught me. And it's a bit of a serious one. I actually took it seriously. And it got to the point in the first part where it actually affected me. Just a bit. Like it actually did, in fact, affect me. So I don't know if you guys want me to start from the beginning. If not, I'm just going to go to the second part because it's been a long time since I've done anything like this. So I'm going to stop the music and I'm just going to go for it. Narcissu second. Because it won't let me choose that, so I gotta choose this. Voiced, unvoiced. Let's go with unvoiced for right now. Prologue, Satsumi, in front of the outpatient reception desk on the first floor. Spread on the floor, many colors of plastic tape. Red, blue, green. They led the way to various departments. Out of those, I followed the white tape. Walking about 30 meters on the right, the shop comes into sight. Across from that was a smoking room. On the left is the waiting room for surgical examination. And if you continue to the end, there is a small elevator. I get on that and press the button for the highest floor. The 7th floor. Before my eyes was the nurse's station. Altogether, some nurses look this way. But once they recognize me, their eyes turn back. As if they saw nothing, they return to their work. A high-ceiling windows that only open 15 centimeters. Here, it was white, well-lit, sterile place. And I head towards the lounge at the end of the hall on the left. A large television, a long couch, decorating the windowsills were a number of flowers. Fitting the summer, the mini sunflowers in vases and the gerbera daisies in flower pots were blooming colorfully. Those were all familiar things. How many years has it been since I've come here? What's different from then are my clothes, changing from sailor uniforms to pajamas. Besides that, the bracelet on my hand, from blue to white, was just about the only other change. You. Turning back towards the voice that called, it was a middle-aged lady I don't know. Her pajamas and bracelet color say she is a resident of this place. Are you visiting someone? Or a patient from another floor? That's not it. While shaking my head, I show my own bracelet. I see. The lady replied uncomfortably. I felt the nuance behind those words. And so young. What a shame. Of course, I've had similar experiences so often it was tiring. I haven't lived almost 10 years like this for nothing. It was just, I never thought to have a fellow resident of the 7th floor also turn eyes of pity towards me. By the way, which time are you on? What's this? For here, coming to the 7th floor, for an instant, I had no idea what she was asking. But, before I can ask a new question, it looks like this is your first. With that, she just up and acted like she understood the situation. Well then, I'll teach you too. So listen well, okay? First, in this place called the 7th floor, even though I hadn't replied, the lady just continued speaking. There is no 4th time. The 3rd time you're admitted is the last. So prepare yourself. When you want to run away, head not to Station A, but to Station B. Don't eat anything. It places the least burden upon your family. She spoke about such things, and I was made to hear other things that would give one pause. Most likely it was something only the residents of this 7th floor, only those who were headed towards death, continued passing on. So you understand. Once the lady finished her broad explanation, somehow I thought her complexion looked better. Phew. To tell someone young like you, it's upsetting. But this is also a rule, so don't be angry, okay? With that, the lady left the lounge. Her parting words were, "You tell new people to, okay?" Burning sunlight and the sound of cicadas. A summer sky seen from windows that can't open more than 15 centimeters. Today also looked like it would be a hot day. Many years since I've come to the 7th floor, the first that I've come as a resident of this place. And the rules I had been taught. In practice, they were probably passed down only among through those who resided here. But a number of them I had already known. Maybe it was that day. The fact that I would face a day like today. I might have had a premonition of it. Prologue Himiko. The rolling sound of bells. Since before I can remember, I existed with that sound. Oni-chan. Phew. What's going on, Chihiro? Getting out of breath like that? Well, look, if we don't hurry... Wait, you're dressed like that again? Something wrong? Oh, you're all greasy and black. What's wrong with that? They're work overhauls. Of course they'd be dirty. I just watched those yesterday. Yeah, sorry about that. My little sister gave me the usual grease stains, a sulking look as she complained. It was the scene of a casual, everyday exchange before the door on a Sunday. Never mind that. Mass, if we don't hurry, we'll be late. Oh, is that time already? Come, hurry and change, and let's go to the church, okay? Yeah, I think I'll pass. Again? That's no good, Oni-chan. You already haven't been going regularly. At least you should go on Sundays. Silly Chihiro. It's exactly because it's a precious Sunday that you skip out. Again with that weak argument. Now, even God would overlook it. On a day with such a beautiful weather. The weather's got nothing to do with it. And either way, you're just going to toy with your car today. So give my regards to Mom and the others. Hey, Oni-chan. Himiko 2, best friend. A loud clattering rises in the garage next to the house as I strongly raise the shutters. All right. Shall we get started today? Perhaps because it was closed off, the garage was stifling hot. Immediately, I turned towards my beloved car under maintenance, purchased just a month earlier. It sounded good to call it a restoration, but really it was work to simply get it to run properly. First, instead of calling the chassis retro, the word scrap would fit better. Such was the age and condition of the car. However, thanks to that, I've lately been spending the weekends inside this garage. Someone knocked. Himiko, you around? Over here. What's up? Coming all the way here? Yeah, well, I happened to come nearby, so I stopped over along the way. Hey, what's with you? You're all black. Because since yesterday I was changing the oil pan. Oil pan? Yeah, that was another big mess. But then there aren't that many amateurs who can get this far. I don't know anything about bread or supper or whatever. Look here, this homemade hoist. Isn't it great? The figures without a wrench, it's really hard. Yuka sighed. You know, Himiko, it's fine to love cars and all, but a young girl to get all black and be in the garage regularly, what do you think about that? You think that's strange? I don't have the time to think it's strange. Or I don't have to think it's strange. Aha, well, that's fine, isn't it? You know, for me, instead of frilly clothes like yours, Yuka, I like what I have here. Yeah, you've been like this for ages, that's true. What's wrong with casual clothes? Come on now. She replied in a weary voice. Her name was Yuka. She also lived nearby, and from long ago, we often spent time together. However, our interests and personalities were polar opposites, and yet we get along for some reason. It might have been exactly because our interests and personalities were different and that we got along. If there were someone that could be called a best friend, for me, she would have been it. But still, Himiko, you're quite the eccentric, aren't you? Using your first paycheck on such a beat-up car. Hey, it's not a beat-up car. Call it Eunice. I probably butchered that. Oh well. And even though it's old, this model is quite popular, you know. Oh, really now? And because of this, all the way until winter bonus time, it's lone hell, sniffle sniffle. Now, how about you hurry up and fix it and take me for a drive? Yeah, I think about next week it'll run. Great, it's decided then, even next week. Wait, Sundays don't work for you, right? There's no real problem. But don't you have church? It's fine, I haven't been going lately anyways. From the start, I was a fake Catholic anyway. Blasphemy. Hey, is it okay to say that? Yeah, it was just a coincidence that my house was next to a church after all. Himiko 3, little sister. I'm home. The door opened and closed. Welcome home. You've been out quite late, Chihiro. You seem a bit down. Did you come back from the 7th floor? It was the 3rd time for someone I was in charge of. I see. Then it must have been hard in many ways. The 7th floor. That is the hospital's hospice. Hospice, generally known as the palliative care ward. Essentially, not a typical ward, but one for patients on their final treatment options, a ward with mental care as a primary focus. For us as Catholics, volunteering as helpers had been very natural. Every day after college, my sister would head straight to the hospital. In her, I can see myself up to a few years ago. Here, I made you some coffee. Thank you. Say, Onichan, you're not going to do it anymore? It? You mean be a helper? Right now, hospitals everywhere are short-handed and it's been difficult for them. Especially in our real world. I see. But I'm done with it. Unlike you, I only went because I wanted university credits. Oh, saying that again. It's not like that, like it's a lie. Anyways, I'm more worried about you. Me? Yes, about how it's not a place that's suitable for someone like you. My sister fell silent at those words. However, those were also my true feelings. In a way, I knew from my own experiences how useless superficial resolve was. At the least, for a kind, good girl like Chihiro, I knew that it would be painful to be a hospice helper. So how was it? What's it like now? Yes. It was the first time I'd been to the 7th floor, so I'm still not used to it. And also, the person I'm in charge of is on their 3rd time after all. It doesn't seem far off. Indeed, no matter how many times they're discharged and then return, there shouldn't be a 4th time. That wasn't something that the hospital publicly said. But even without saying, if you were involved with the place, you'd learn it whether you liked it or not. Say, Onichan. God, what exactly is he doing, I wonder? Who knows? He's probably busy. Roadster. A few days later, with the main repairs on Unos finished, we went out for a drive. It really does run great. Hey Himiko, don't go so fast. This is totally safe driving. That may be true for you, but for a driver who's just on a paper like me, this driving makes my heart jump. Roadsters are the best. Hey, listen to the people when they're talking. Can you hear me now? And hey, what's with this car? What's wrong? Why isn't there a roof? Well, that's how it is. No, that's not how it is. The wind messes up your hair, doesn't it? Hi, Shanti. Yeah, my phone. I can't really help it. Apparently, if you haven't seen Clone's tweet, he's going to be playing a really hard ball of chess with Nat tonight, so... I know everybody does, and that's okay. And because I stupidly stayed up, is why I'm probably only going to be able to stream for an hour tonight, because I really need to catch up on the sleep. Which I don't know about that. I'll try to sleep and then I'll end up playing Ark or something. But I thought I'd jump on and play this for a little bit. Very, I guess you could say, a serious story. Shanti subbed with Prime Gaming. They're subscribed for 9 months and currently on a 3-month streak. Heck yeah. I could kick your rear for drinking when you shouldn't have been drinking. You're not wrong there. But I think you can understand that when you have a really bad day, dealing with someone whose ignorance and childish acts make it hard for you to do your job, and that's the kind of person I deal with. And yesterday was really one of those days to really just take a day off and enjoy a drink. So that's exactly what I did. And maybe I enjoyed it too much because I was up till 1:30 in the morning. That is true. That is true. I could have ended up staying up the entire night. Technically, I did. But I have been up for like 24 hours or more, so I guess you can count that. Okay, I've already read this, so I'm gonna keep going here. I am gonna pay attention to the chat, though. I will. Silly girl to not understand the joys of an open top. I know saying that, or seeing it here and then reading it, I hate to think about it, because anyone thinking about just that right there, that line, that could be taken so many ways. I'm just pointing it out. Such joys a young girl does not need. Oh, and I spent an hour making it up too. Well, there goes the part of women spending hours doing makeup and hair that guys like me will never understand at all. The sun was still high and the earnest ran under the refreshing cool of the sky before the rainy season. Soon after leaving a long mountain road, the deep blue sea spread wide. Again, that can also taken to be so many different ways. Yeah, you were being good. The sea route continued endlessly. From nearby came the crashing of the waves and seagull calls. Even the phoenix palms planted by the beach houses, each and every one was tall. It felt like visiting southern lands. So why don't we take a little break? Sure. Here, canned coffee. Thanks. We popped our cans open. Again, another line that could be taken so many ways. Yuka gulped hers down and sighed in satisfaction. As if she had just gotten out of the bath, Yuka had her hand on her hip and gulped down the canned coffee in one go. She was also always decked out in frills, but what shows through occasionally was Yuka's true personality. And then, while holding our cans of coffee, we walked out to the beach before us. This is a beautiful place, isn't it? Yeah, the salt air feels good. There's no one around. Himiko, it's amazing that you knew of this place. Yeah. Though I have no clue where this is. Come again? No, exactly as the words mean. Wait a second. Why is it that you, the one who was driving, have no clue? No map. No idea. No destination. Just drive. Well, let's say I was driving around wherever felt right, and we came here by chance. Do you mean all this time you've been driving just wherever a whim took you? Well, something like that. I don't believe this. And I'm worried about whether we'll be able to get back. But the fact that I went along with this driving for a whole day, I don't believe myself. Now, we'll manage. Probably. And that's something that I'd probably say myself because I don't care for directions. I didn't mean to do that. Shut up, phone. Then we spread out some newspaper on the beach and started to eat the lunch we had bought at a convenience store along the way. To be honest, bringing our own lunches would have fit better, but both of our best dishes, hard-boiled eggs, couldn't be called extravagant. Yeah, that's me. At least we should have brought a sheet. But you know, Himiko, what is it? If you don't have a navigation system, at least get yourself a map. Burn. But you know, I like this carefree feel too. Well, then at least stop with that look. But why? I like work overhauls. No, because sitting next to you makes me feel embarrassed. But it's functional, you know? Instead of function, put form first. While we chatted, the two of us continued to eat our lunches. Pines swayed in the salt breeze, and the large phoenix palms stood tall. Occasionally, seagulls came near. Though it was such an utterly perfect place, how should I say, the image of the newspaper mats, Yuka's frilly clothing, my work overhauls, it was all so out of place it was laughable. Say, let's come again next week. No. Wow. Insanely rejected. Well, isn't it sad that each and every week it's only two girls going out together for drives? Got a point. Well, this is a car for two people, after all. That's not the problem, is it? Now, let's just say we're partners in loneliness. It hurts to admit this, but I have no counter. Neither do I, but I'm not a people person, so... And around when the sun had been so high was hazing over and everything that could be seen was dyed orange, like nachos. Once again, the Eunice drove on. We had played at the beach and now took up a quick route home. Today had been a fun day. While thinking of that, I gripped the wheel. But lately you have been going, right? Church? Chihiro-chan was grumbling about it, you know. Lately, Oni-chan just won't come, she said. Say, once in a while, why don't you show your face? Does it mean this one? No? It's fine. And didn't I say before? That was from the start. I was a fake Catholic. That's why it's fine. No. I'm just gonna point that out. No, it's not. Himiko? So it's decided that next week we're going for a drive again, right? And this time, why don't we bring lunches? And let's shoot for getting farther than today. Yuka sighed. Fine, I get it. There's just no helping you. So I'll come along. Thank you. Just like a best friend. Prologue, Himiko 5. hospital. And 1 week later, the church was filling with people headed to Sunday school. It was around the time set last week when the roadster was supposed to head towards the sea. My figure was found atop a hospital bed. Here, on each end, the apples peeled. Thank you. You eat too. You liked him, don't you? Yeah. A brief knock and the door opened. Phew, so heavy. Himiko, look, I bought them for you. Sorry, but the shop downstairs didn't sell those magazines. I don't really mind, but next time could you make them lighter books? And stop with the books for obsessed maniacs, okay? Taking them to the register was embarrassing. I think Motorcyclist and American Car Magazine are perfectly normal magazines. Well, to me they aren't. Now, the two of you. This is a shared room, so you shouldn't be so rowdy. Ah, that's right, sorry. Two people who came to visit me. Nothing needs to be said about Chihiro, but even looking like this, Yuka had been the first to rush over. Even before, when I'd be in a bed with a cold, complaining all the while, she'd be at my side taking care of me. She wasn't the most true to herself, but really was very kind. That was my best friend. And that friend was hungrily eating. It's delicious, isn't it? This melon. Hey, you're the one that's visiting. Don't gobble it all up. Why not? There's plenty. But yeah, when I suddenly heard that you were admitted to the hospital, I was surprised. Yes, I was surprised too, Oni-chan. And yet, when I rushed over to see, I was so lively. What a disappointment. Hey, you should be saying that. But everyone was making that kind of face. Speaking of which, Chihiro-chan, what about everyone else? Yeah, lots of people from the company came. They left just before. And by the way, the only person to come empty-handed was you, which is why you should donate to charity. Quiet, you. I bought those weird books for you, didn't I? That was an errand that I most definitely gave you the money for. You can't really call that a visiting gift, right? Always with the little details. But you know, it really is a happy thing. To have even people that you see every day come like this to visit. And Himiko, they bring you melons too. Oh, well, maybe once in a while being sick isn't so bad. Himiko's sixth summer. And a few months from then, the time when some early cicadas were calling. In the spring, the visitors came almost every day, but it was now the time where they really came. And as always, I was atop a hospital bed. Phew, it's hot today. A few knocks and the door opened. Oni-chan, are you done eating? It's about time to take back the tray. You know, I'm not too fond of this stuff. And you're leaving the broccoli again. Chihiro, instead of that, buy me an ice cream from the store. No, you've been told to avoid everything except what's prescribed. Now, stop saying such strict things. No, not to mention just before you were able to be scolded by the doctors. Bring ice cream. Okay, I get it. Oh, Only your responses are good. Don't forget, you aren't supposed to just up and go buy some at the storage yourself again either. I said I got it. Chihiro gave a weary sigh. Well, it's about time I go. Do you mean up? Yeah, the 7th floor. I see. Don't push yourself too hard now. You too, Oni-chan. Around the time of the close of that long summer, when the Higurashi were calling to the night sky, even now, I was here, and today, too, she had come. A few knocks and the door opened. I'm coming in. Hey, you. Hey, you're looking well. Thanks. Yosho. Oh, and the visiting gift? What? He took it. As always, you seem to be empty-handed. What are you talking about, of course? In fact, you should praise me for coming every day. Amazing, wonderful. Pat, pat. Stop that. Well then, if you brought a melon, I'd give you the perfect attendance award. I don't need that. We had a childish conversation as she sat in the folding chair next to the bed. This scene itself, by now, was becoming a familiar one. And it's Sunday, too. Sorry, Yuka. For wasting your summer away. It's nothing at all. It's not like I had anything planned, and I'm always just stopping by along the way. So, oh, just hurry up and get better. I'll go driving or whatever with you again. So, beyond that, her words didn't reach my ears. I couldn't hear them as the cries of the Higurashi in the evening erased them. It's been almost 3 months since I've come here. It was all so sudden. I still didn't feel the reality of it myself. And that's it. Isn't it? What about this? Does this continue with the same thing? Yeah. This is the, basically just completed it. Like, there's no saves, but I think we just completed side 2. Basically, it's a prologue to this one. I thought it was going to be a little bit longer. There's... So let's go back to this scene real quick. I'll go ahead and close this. So basically, when it comes to that game, yeah, it's not obvious. It's based in Japan, but there's a lot that goes on, and you end up like it just springs on you like all of a sudden. So it it affects you, like it weakens you, and once you get there's points when like there's no like the description of what the disease, what they get, what sickness that they have gets described. It doesn't get described at all. It's the fact that they go through a lot of pain at some point. Um, I could replay the first one. It is actually very, very deep. And the first one gets really deep. Because there's a word that I hate gets mentioned. This is kind of like how deep it gets. Because one, the characters, besides, yeah, oh, yeah, that word, uh, asks another character who runs away with her, and she's basically the main person, which is part of the prologue. Uh, where it's like I saying that she had like she had a premonition of it, like she already like foreseen what's gonna happen later on. She the person she meets that she teaches the new lessons and whatnot, or the rules of the seventh floor. It's basically the seventh floor is like the place in the hospital where patients who have this illness pretty much they never come back from. It's described that their families become distant, and they don't feel connected to their families, and they don't want to pass on. They're conflicted to either passing on with their family surrounded by them, or they're conflicted of passing on in a hospital. It is very emotional. That's why I ended up taking it very seriously. It's why I wanted to come back to it. And I did think it was going to be as long as the first one, and it's not. But that's okay. And it kind of is like a setting stone for like the very first part of the story. And there's a part where I heard a girl crying in my ear when it got to that point in the first part. And that's when I ended up stopping for a moment, hearing like the painful cries of this woman, because at this point the little girl that we saying that she had a premonition like in the second part, like in the prologue, she's in her 20s. So this is her first part when she's 10. 10 years later, she meets a boy with the very same illness at his first time being administered to the seventh floor, who's also old enough to drive. And the question is, in relation to the word that I will not say because I hate that word, will you stop me? The question was that she would ask him, would you stop me? And he replied, do you want me to stop? He's like, do you want me to stop her? Because he asked her if she wants him to stop her. And that's kind of when she like broke down crying. And so we did, the first time. But when she ran, both of them ran out of meds to keep them stable, and their money was running low, gas was getting empty in the car, they stopped at a beach and shared a moment one more time. And that's when she asked him the same question. And he really couldn't come up with an answer. The only answer he really could come up with is like, at this point, I think you would do it even if I tried to stop you. But yes, I definitely would try to stop you. And that's when she smiled and disappeared underneath the waves. She passed away. And there was a line from that where a couple took a picture of them because an older couple, they thought that these two young kids that were basically running away from the hospital, running away from that emotional pain to go on an adventure to try and like live their life for once and to get to a destination to where they would be happy, or at least be to get to help one person get to the destination where she would be happy. The older couple took a picture of them, and the only thing that remained in the last scene in the very first of Narcissus, the main story, was a picture of them with the white band bracelet. And his line was, "This picture, this bracelet, is proof that we lived." And I always, when I wanted interested into visual novels and these little stories, I wanted the ones that were like very emotional, very serious, and like almost very, very real. And that's one, like, when I thought about it, is like with mental health being the focus, and that also we're raising money for charity for St. Jude's for this entire month, as well as taking an event and raising money for the WWF, for all them animals, nature, for all them kids that from very, like, either sometime like weeks after they've been born or when they're a couple years old, they get diagnosed with cancer or a form of cancer or a form of cancer that's connected to Down syndrome. It's just heartbreaking. And it sucks happening to hear, let alone see videos or pictures of these kids being cooped up in a hospital with a chance of possibly being forgotten, which should be the case. So if anyone wants to donate, donate. If you can't, share the stream, share the links, spread awareness. There's the one to St. Jude, and there's the one to the WWF. No one is required to donate. I can only simply point it out and show support in any way I can, and that's why I ask you guys for help in doing so. I know this might not be a really long stream. This is a bit more, I guess you could say, a bit more of a serious chat. Hopefully tomorrow we'll do the normal thing, play a game, have fun. I promise I'll have more energy, but I'm gonna go raid somebody if you guys have a suggestion. Otherwise, I'm gonna flip a coin in my head and raid one of the other two people, one of two people right now that whose streams I have up as as to be ready to go in case something happened. But again, I want to thank you guys enjoying. Thank you guys for hanging out. Thank you guys for listening to me talk, as well as read a very short story, like more like a pre-story to the main one, basically. But I need to get some rest. I also need to get some food, and hopefully I'll have more energy tomorrow. And yeah, we had a very serious talk. I mean, seriously, if you have the possibility or the chance to make someone's day, do it. Do it. And so you guys know, you guys are not alone, especially the people who are lurking. You are not alone. So with that, I will see you guys in the next one. And I think let's see, who do we pick? How about we just do a host? How's that? Charity host, Nacho Smash. So just before I do that, get this copied. Get it pasted, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm sorry, but it's not gonna be a really long stream. We're gonna go drop a host on Clone. I'll see you guys tomorrow.